Rachel from My Stampin' Haven. Thank you very much for joining me for another YouTube tutorial. Today we're going to be making this little Matchbox card that has a pop-up insert when you open it up, and there's a little space at the back for a gift card. So we'll be making that one today. So to start, we've got a piece of cardstock, this rich raspberry, and it is 20.3 by 20.3 centimetres, which is 8 inch by 8 inch. And what I'm going to do is bring over my envelope punch board, that's this guy here, and we're going to start scoring and punching. So the first score line, or punch and score line we're going to be doing, is at 7 centimetres, and on the centimetre guide just line it up at 7. In inches, you'll be looking for 2 3/4 inch. Okay, so punch and score, and do that the whole way around your piece of paper as well. Line it up at the 9 centimetre mark, which is 3 1/2 inch. So punch and score, and do that the whole way around. Okay, so now that you've punched and scored at the 7 and 9 mark, what we're going to do is go around and fold it. Okay, now I'm just going to grab my snips here, and just these little tabs here, I'm just going to make a small incision on both ends. Okay, because those little guys will seal up the box when it's all done. So just continue scoring it. Now I'm just going to bring the punch board back over, and one of these ends here, just fold it over. You'll see there's 2 score lines. Fold it over at that first one and line it up on your punch board round about the middle. So to me, I'm looking at 4 1/2 centimetres, which is 1 3/4 inches. Just give it a punch, okay, because when that is all folded up, that will become the little pull handle for the tray. So I'll just put that aside, and what I'm going to do now is just fold these over on those little score lines. Fold them in again, and that starts to form the basis of our tray. So once you've got all those scored and folded, you can start sealing it up. So just on these little tabs here, I'm just going to use some mini dots. That's these guys here. So I'll just pop some mini dots on those tabs. Okay, those are all sealed up now, so what I'm going to do is use my Tombow and actually seal all these flaps down now. Okay, so I'll grab the Tombow. Okay, so that's the base of the tray. Now I'm going to put down a bit of DSP paper just to hide those flaps. So I'll just grab that. Now this piece of paper here is 8.3 by 14.4 centimetres, which is 3 1/4 inch by 5 11/16, and that will just sit inside the tray there. So that's the base of our tray. So what we need to do now is put the pop-up supports in. So I've got 3 pieces here, and these are 8.2 centimetres by 2 1/2 centimetres, which is 3 1/4 by 1 inch. And I've actually scored them halfway down the middle at the 1/2 inch mark. So what we'll do is we'll start putting those in that way, so they'll sit like that at the front. Now you don't have to have 3 of them, but it does make it quite nice when there's 3 of them. So basically they'll sit in there. Now it's a good idea, if you're going to make this for a gift card, it's a good idea to grab a gift card or a credit card just to make sure that you've allowed enough space behind this back flap for a card. So I'll just grab a card now. So I've just got a card here that's about gift card sized, just to give us a rough idea of where that first flap actually has to sit. So I'll just take that out and we'll just put a bit of Tombow on the back of that strip. Oops. Okay. So once you've got a rough idea where that strip goes, you can seal it down a bit firmer. Okay. You can put the last two in now. So just evenly space them apart and then just stick them down. So we've done the basis of the tray now. So what we need to do now is stick down the little flower and butterfly inserts. So I've pre-cut all of these just to save a bit of time in the video. So what I've done is these ones here I've stamped with the Flower Shop stamp set. Oops, that one there. And then I have cut them with the Pansy Punch, which is that one there. And the butterflies, that is the Elegant Butterfly Punch. And that is the Bitty Butterfly Punch. I've also stuck down some basic rhinestone jewels in the centre of these flowers and butterflies just to give it a bit of bling. So I'm going to start sticking those down now. There we go. Now what you can do is you can actually use a bit of acetate to firm these up a bit so that they actually spring up when the box comes out. So I'm just taking a bit of the acetate window sheeting that's in our annual catalogue, and I've just cut it into little strips that I'll use to just strengthen those flaps a bit. So that's the insert all done. So let's put that aside for now and we will work on the outside covering. So I've got another piece of paper here. Now this is 14.8 by 22.2 centimetres, and that is 5 13/16 by 8 3/4 inch. So I'm just going to bring my trimmer over. Okay, so we're going to start scoring this at 1.6 centimetres. Get that lined up. 10.1, 11.8, and 20.7. Okay, so I'm just going to move the trimmer out of the way now. And I'm just going to start folding on those score lines. Okay, so you'll see that there's a little flap there, so you can now seal it up. Now it's a good idea to get your box and pop it inside the sleeve before you seal it up, just to make sure that it's going to be a nice tight fit. Okay, so I'll just get some Tombow and we'll just seal that up. Okay, so we have our sleeve now, so when we slide this out pop the flowers. So now we can decorate this sleeve. So for the outside of the sleeve, I've got some more pieces of cardstock and DSP. The cardstock again is Rich Razzleberry and the DSP is Polka Dot Parade. Now this piece here is 8 centimeters by 14.1, which is 3 1/8 by 5 9/16. And this piece here is 7.2 by 13.4 centimeters, which is 2 13/16 by 5 1/4 inch. And what I'm going to do is just stick that there, just mat it on top of the cardstock, and then that will just get stuck onto the top there. Okay, so we've done the little matting on the front of it. So what I'm going to do now is I will turn it the other way up, and this here will be the back that you write your greeting onto. So I'm going to be stamping on it with the Sweet Essentials stamp set, and I'll be using the Make-A-Wish stamp. The colour I'm using is Strawberry Slush, which is a current in colour in the 2013 to 2015 range. So now that I've stamped that on the back, I'm just going to turn it around and put on a bit of nice silver ribbon. This is absolutely gorgeous. It was in our holiday catalogue, which retired on the 1st of February, but it has now been carried across to our occasions catalogue. Okay, I'm just going to put that aside and do the little sentiment for the top. So the set I'm using is Label Love, and I'll use the Happy Birthday to You stamp here. Okay, and I'm just going to grab the coordinating punch. This is the little label punch. It's called the Artisan Label, and that's in our annual catalogue. I'm just going to grab a bit of Strawberry Slush cardstock and do another. And now I'm just going to cut it in half. And what I'll do is I'll mount it just behind this label, just to give it a bit of a matting effect. Now I'm just going to stick that right there with some dimensionals. And I've got one little butterfly left, which I will stick on the top there. Okay, so that's our little card box done. And now we just need to do a custom envelope for it. And I've got another piece of DSP here. This is the Polka Dot Parade pen. And this piece of paper is 25 by 25 centimeters, which is 9 13/16 by 9 13/16. So what I'm going to do is start punching and scoring at the 10 and the 13 centimeter marks, which are 3 7/8 and 5 1/8. Okay, so you should have 2 notches on each side. So just move the punch board out of the way. Oop, before I forget, just on one of your edges, do a little corner, because that'll be your opening flap. So just go around and start folding on all the score lines. Okay, now to be able to fold this up, we need to cut the tabs. Discard all those tabs. And now we can start sealing the box up. And there we have our little envelope box. And the card will just slip inside that. There we have it. That is our little matchbox with matching envelope and pop-up inner. Thank you very much for joining me for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have fun making this little project.